Creepy encounter in a bar bathroom. This just happened a couple hours ago, and I'm still perplexed as to what I experienced exactly. I will say now that I absolutely was not drunk or anywhere near it when this happened. I had one beer before this, I had no history of hallucinations, and have not had any personal paranormal encounters that haven't been explainable. I believe in this stuff, but I take the stance of a skeptic when things happen as to rule out any other possibilities. If something is paranormal, I want it to be undeniably paranormal, if that makes sense. Anyways, I was at a bar with my friends when the inevitable need to pee set in, so I went to the bathroom. A brief visual of how the bathroom is set up. You walk in and immediately turn left. There are a row of sinks and mirrors in front of you when you round the corner, with the bathroom stalls opposite them, so you can see the reflection of the stalls in the mirror upon entering. So I walk in, and in the mirror, I see a dark-haired woman squatting in the stall. She says, "Oh, I guess I should close the door, huh?" To which I say, "Don't worry about it. I've seen worse." Her voice clearly coming from the stall right next to me the whole time, keep this in mind. "Well, at least you saw me in case I die tonight." Me, a little put off by what a dark turn this bathroom conversation took. "Aw, you won't die tonight. Don't be like that." "Well, you never know. And if I do die, you'll feel bad for saying I won't." Well, I wouldn't feel bad for being optimistic about your life. At this point, I figured she might be suicidal, and was gonna talk to her on a more serious level once I was done with my tinkle business. "You're like, wow, that took a crazy turn." Me, finishing up and getting ready to flush. "Yeah, that took a dark turn." Then, in a matter of maybe 2 seconds tops, I flushed the toilet and came out of the stall. She was nowhere to be found. The stall was empty, door open, toilet presumably unused. No footsteps, no sound of the bathroom door opening, and louder sounds of the bar activity flooding the bathroom. None of that happened during any of this time. I was absolutely stumped as to where she could have disappeared to, and how and when it could have happened, since there had been maybe 4 or 5 seconds between the last thing she said and when I went out of the stall to see the empty bathroom. Once again, I don't have any history of mental illness, so I strongly doubt I hallucinated at all. I only had one beer, so I was nowhere near drunk, and consider myself very coherent during the whole time. Any thoughts and possibilities you can contribute are welcome, and if you have any similar stories, feel free to share. It was certainly the most bizarre and in-my-face paranormal experience I've ever had that I can remember. Thanks, guys. The ghost of the third grade boys' bathroom. In 2009 to 2010, my 4th grade year, I had an experience at my brand spanking new elementary school that opened in 2008 when I went from 3rd to 5th grade. What started out as a normal school day in the September turned weird when I had the sudden urge to go to the bathroom. Well, I did my business and then re-spiked my hair in the mirror. Then it happened. I saw a 6-foot-tall figure in a white robe walk towards a stall and thought, well, that's awkward. So I spun around really fast, and guess what? Nobody was there. I walked in class and everyone was dumbfounded on how mortified I looked by a simple bathroom trip. Either way, I named this entity Billy. In December, a few days before Christmas break, our school had a fire drill in the pouring rain. Fire trucks came, so maybe it was Billy checking up on us. I don't know if it was a student prank, so I might rule this scenario out. Fast forward to spring, my friend Hunter was looking in the mirror and saw a pale white face peering into the bathroom from the entrance. Our reading teacher believed us, but our regular teacher didn't for some reason. Now, I'm going to move away from the 3rd grade bathroom to the 5th grade bathroom. Occasionally, when I was in the bathroom, the hand dryers would go off randomly. They have hand sensors, so it can't automatically go off. I've heard the hand dryers go off multiple times, and due to my seat facing the hallway that contains the bathroom entrance, I can say that nobody walked in or out at those times. So maybe old Billy is a prankster after all. And in the last year of middle school, 2013 to 2014, a friend of mine had the stall door slam violently behind her. Now, I heard rumors of someone dying after falling from the rafters there shortly after it opened in 1991. I am in the 2nd semester of 9th grade, and I haven't experienced anything significant. But I heard a small bell ringing once. And guess where it was? The upstairs bathroom. So ghosts love bathrooms, it seems. Maybe they have a bigger vantage point in the bathroom to mess with the kids, because there's usually only one way out of the bathroom: the entrance. Unexplained happening in the workplace. In the summer of 2007, I moved from Arizona to Texas to go to school. My work fortunately had an office in Irving, Texas that I transferred to, so I was guaranteed a job when I moved. The office where I worked was part of a large 3-story building located in an area of the city of Irving called the Las Colinas. It's known as being the rich area, and as far as I heard from the native Texans, the community is relatively new, and the building where I worked built only in the last few years. I don't really know why I would have experienced a haunting there, if that's indeed what it was. The office where I worked was on the 2nd floor. From the first day I started there, I had a weird feeling about the 2nd floor's women's restroom and also the elevators. I noticed almost immediately that many times when I approached the elevators, the doors would open on their own accord, without me even pressing the button. I thought at first that maybe someone else had pressed the button, and then had second thoughts about riding it because they forgot something at their desk or some other reason. But then I realized that if someone does press the button, it stays lighted up until the elevator arrives on that floor. And I noticed that the elevators were doing this to me even when the button wasn't lit up. You have to understand, though, that the owners were fixing up the lobby area, and there was quite a bit of construction going on. It's quite possible that the construction was messing up the electrical system. I still didn't like riding the elevator when that happened, though. It's hard to explain, but I felt like I was being invited on. The 2nd floor women's restroom felt even spookier than the elevator, though it looked like nothing more than a normal large industrial restroom like you would find in any other office or public building anywhere else. There was 10 stalls, a sink area, and a maintenance closet. The whole thing was run on sensors, which again could explain some of the happenings. I didn't like going in there alone and was kind of scared of the maintenance closet for some reason. But I thought I was just being silly. Then I started hearing other people talking and saying they felt the same way. My boss, who sometimes had to work on Saturday or late in the evening when no one was there, got to the point where she would use the bathrooms downstairs after hours because the one upstairs was freaking her out. When we went in to use the restroom and we were alone, the toilets all around us would start flushing. Faulty sensors, we thought. The only problem is those sensors are set to go off based on movement. What would make them go off if there was no movement? In addition, I'd sometimes notice the maintenance closet door was closed when I went to a stall, and then it would open when I came out. I checked to make sure it was the kind of door that closed firmly, and it was. As I already said, all this could be explained by electrical cross-wiring and faulty sensors. Then, on the very last day I worked there, something happened that wasn't so easily explained. Ironically, it also happened to be October 31st, though I don't know if that has anything to do with it. My boss had taken me out to a farewell lunch. I had gathered all my stuff from my desk and was heading out the door when I decided to use the bathroom since it was a 40-mile drive to where I was going. When I entered, I went down to the handicapped stall, which was the very last one. I knew that no one was in the restroom because all the other stalls had the doors standing open and were empty. In addition, the restroom had one of those heavy-duty doors that they put on public restrooms, the kind that can't be opened quietly, so you can always hear if someone comes in. I was there in the stall, everything quiet, no one else in there, when all of a sudden, I heard the motor of the paper towel dispenser operate up at the front of the restroom. I think my heart stopped beating for a moment before logic returned. Faulty sensor, I thought. The usual explanation for weird bathroom incidences in this building. I thought there was an air conditioning vent above the sink, and if there was any paper towel hanging down from the dispenser, the air could have stirred it and made the sensor go off. Easy enough to explain, right? I hadn't heard any come in, but I peered under the stall I was in anyway and didn't see feet anywhere in the bathroom. I relaxed. That explanation lasted all of 30 seconds because I suddenly heard a piece of paper towel being ripped off the dispenser. Okay, that was not a faulty sensor. I know my heart stopped beating at that point. I gathered my stuff and decided to make a run for it. The only problem was I had to go by the sink to get out of the restroom door, and I was scared to death of what I would see. I took a deep breath and opened the door. There was nothing there, but as I ran past the sink, I saw a piece of paper towel positioned neatly on the counter between the two sinks. I was glad to leave, but now several months later, it's just an incident I can't explain. I'm still open to the possibility of someone playing a joke on me. But I don't know how they did it, since I would have been aware of anyone coming through the restroom door, and that's the only way into the bathroom.